One thing that's always mystified me with lathes, particularly small lathes, bench lathes, is why the manufacturers are quite happy to give you a carriage lock, such as this is just your normal carriage lock, just a bolt that pulls up a block against the bottom of the ways. They're quite happy to give you that very simple device, yet they won't give you a cross-slide lock. Strange, because a cross-slide lock can be just as simple as a carriage lock. They probably think, well, you know, maybe people won't use them, or most people don't need them. Well, I find it a very handy part of the lathe to have. Anybody that does milling on the lathe like I do, anybody that does grinding on the lathe like I do, a cross-slide lock is indispensable. You have to be able to lock down the cross-slide to prevent any float in or out when you're say plunge milling, or when you're grinding, you know, very light pressure being applied to the job. You can't have any in and out float going on. And even when you're turning, if you're doing very light cuts, it's a good idea to lock down the cross slide to make sure that nothing can move out of alignment. And you can also use it to apply pressure to the cross slide to reduce chatter. It can help with that regard too. So it's useful, it's very useful. So okay, how do you put a cross slide lock on a lathe without going to a lot of trouble and interfering with carriage travel to the tailstock? It's the last thing you want to do. I mean, I've seen them on the internet. I had a look on the internet to see what people had made or done, and a lot of them were pretty hopeless in my opinion. They had hunks of aluminium bolted on and all sorts of stuff. You want something simple, won't interfere with the carriage travel, won't interfere with the chuck or a faceplate, won't get covered in rubbish down this end. So it wants to be on this side of the carriage. What's the easiest way to do it? Well, the simple way is quite obvious. You've got a gib strip in it that's already applying pressure to the dovetail. Why not just utilise that? So that's what I did. You can see here where I've drilled a hole through the side of the cross slide into the gib gallery. It's up this end, so it's easy to get to. It's unlikely to interfere with the tailstock on full traversement. And all it is it's a 6mm hole. It's a hole for a 6mm bolt, which is basically, it just takes a little Allen-headed bolt. So you just take off the cross slide, drill and tap a 6mm hole through the gallery, put it back together, put a ball bearing down the hole, which is basically the largest one that will go down the hole. Put a concave in the end of your bolt to centre the ball bearing. Put your bolt in, oil it of course, put a bit of oil on, and then just put in your bolt, lift her up. So you've got quite a bit of thread there to take the turning action. It's not going to wear out in a hurry. There you go, you're good to go. Now what could be more compact and simple than that? So you want to lock the carriage, you just nip her up. You want to, the cross slide rather, you just nip it up. You want to unlock it, you just loosen it off. Simple, works brilliantly, you don't need a lot of pressure. I know some people do tighten up the gib adjusters and all this sort. There's a lot of mucking around. It's ridiculous really, because you're better off just to put a separate bolt in, leave these alone, so you're not altering their setting. They're there to do a job. They're there to be evenly adjusted and prevent wear on the dovetails. So rather than utilise one of those, as some people do, which I think is wrong, drill a separate hole, tap it, put your little short Allen-headed bolt in, and you're good to go. If you don't want to use a ball bearing behind the bolt, you can easily just grind a taper on the bolt in the same fashion as a gib adjuster, and then put a slight concave in the back of the gib plate to locate it, and it will do the same job. So there you go folks, a great modification, an easy modification, and once you've got a cross slide lock, you wonder why they don't make them an original fitment on the lathe to begin with, because they are very, very useful. And I mean, it would cost almost nothing to fit. So there you go. I hope you found that useful. Probably the easiest and cheapest and one of the best modifications you can do to a lathe. So there you go. Get out there and do it. See you later.